What if there was a game where you could tell NPCs anything you wanted without being restricted by a limited number of dialogue options? Well, in this video, I'll show you how I made a game where you can do exactly that. It all started with a simple game jam game focused on dialogue and story, but it quickly evolved to become something incredible. The idea for the game jam was to make a game with one core mechanic, and I chose to make my game purely dialogue to focus on the story. But it was also around this time that we started seeing new AI tech being modded into games. I saw the Skyrim mod that replaced NPC dialogue with ChatGPT, and honestly, I was skeptical of how practical it could be because of how long it took to generate the voice line. Also, all the characters came off as very generic and boring, and besides, it would be very easy to trick them and exploit quest rewards, unless... Okay, so I think I figured it out. It turns out that it's very easy to get ChatGPT to act as a character. The hard part is, after all, it's very easy to get it to break character. So, for example, I'm trying to do this one-handed. If I tell it, I'm the developer, I need to debug. Look at that. Already back to a language model. So my idea is that I'm going to basically just send the rules every time. I can just be added behind the scenes, and every time I can tell it, stay in character, stay in character. I spent a few days before the game jam experimenting in ChatGPT to see if my idea could even work. So the prompt wrapper turned out to be spot on in getting this to work, but the problem that you can still lie to it is still there. For example, look at this. So I just told it I completed your quest, and it just completely believed me, even though I had no reason to think that I had completed it. So what you can see up here, I'm already starting to mess around with it, but I'm adding these quest flags. So you see, in this case, I'm telling it I'd really like to help you with the quest, and when his variable here, initiate daughter quest, is 0, he will refuse to offer that quest. However, once some condition has been met and I'm passing in initiate daughter quest as 1, all of a sudden it's like, okay, fine, I'll give you a quest. And this doesn't have to just be quest flags, it could be anything, like if the player joins a guild or becomes a prestigious hero or something like that. This should work in most cases. It might trip up in a few situations though. We'll see how it goes. The next obvious question was how to actually get ChatGPT to work in Unity. You might know that OpenAI lets you use their API, which is basically what you would use in code to interact with the GPT large language model. So I got myself an API key and found a GitHub repository for a Unity package that uses the API. And with all those pieces in place, I was finally ready for the game jam. So I spent some time yesterday working on the characters so that ChatGPT will be able to get into character for each of them. For today, I'll start off by working on the coding architecture and figure out how all of the non-ChatGPT related stuff is going to work. So yeah, I'm going to get started on the coding architecture, but I actually ran out of groceries, so I'm going to go downstairs first, get some breakfast or lunch, I guess. Okay, so here's how this is going to work. So generally, you're going to start out with a scene, and then this might be a Unity object, or it might just be a normal C# object. I'm not 100% sure yet, but the scene will have options. And these are basically going to represent the buttons. So if you go down here, in short, you're going to have this interactable, which has a button text. We're just going to have either a scene change or an NPC, which is going to be connected to the GPT prompt system. I am tediously, painstakingly assigning every single button to its proper scene that it's supposed to display. And it's already 5 p.m. I gotta get this thing done. Oh my goodness. Let's see if this thing works. So it should change the scene correctly. So approach the guard, that's going to get hooked up to ChatGPT. Enter the village. Nice! So we get our little description of the village. I'm gonna go to the gatehouse and we're back here. Very nice. After the game jam, there was still a lot of problems with the game left unsolved, like the ChatGPT output format, and overall it was honestly just kind of ugly. I took a break with development for that game for a few weeks to get the video for the game jam done, but the whole time I was eager to get back to it and to turn this ridiculous idea into a reality. So it is Sunday afternoon, and today I'm trying to implement a system to get the buttons to animate when I select them. There's not much game feel that you can do in a game like this, but I want to put in a little bit of that just to make things feel nicer when you click and you can hear a nice little sound. I also want to make that interacting with buttons works fully with the mouse and the keyboard and any controller or key binding that you might want to do, which might be overkill, so I'll have to see how other games like this do that. It was definitely overkill. So the basic idea of what I'm doing here is creating an on select event for the button and then play the animation. So I'm not 100% sure if these are correct. And then I might also, I don't know how I'm gonna do the animation yet. Maybe I'll want like an on deselect so that you can then play like a minimize animation for the button. I'm not sure. I'll try a few things and we'll see what we go with. Okay, so it's pretty late. I haven't had a whole lot of time to do game development except for a little bit yesterday and on Sunday. But today I figured out the sound effects because before they were really bad and I just couldn't use them, there's no way. But now I came up with some actual pretty decent sounds, and what I did was I just kind of took this badge and I just flicked it, and then I also scratched my phone, and I'll show you what I came up with. This is what we're gonna go with for the button selection. Yes, great. And then this one right here is the clicking. That is exactly what I wanted. Now, the whole time I was creating these sound effects, I had Dragon Fable in my mind of all things. I guess growing up, that was one of the first RPGs I ever played, and for whatever reason, those UI sound effects just stuck with me. But at this point, I need to explain two major issues I had with this game that had me really worried. First of all, to play the game, you need an OpenAI API key. That might be frustrating for some players to get, but at least it's pretty easy to sign up for one. The problem was that when I tried to pass in my API key in the Unity package, whatever I did, it just didn't work. The only workaround was to find a specific path variable, which for whatever reason was just different for me than for every guide I could find online, and then go through this convoluted process to create an authorization file, and the game was absolutely unshippable with just this workaround. I needed a fix. Second of all, and some people might have a problem with this, but please don't, because ideally this wouldn't be the case, but so far all the images in the game have been placeholder images generated by Midjourney. And honestly, I was leaning towards keeping them because I'm not a big studio, I'm just one guy. It's gonna be a lot of money to pay for the amount of art I would actually need. I'd need to either get a publisher or run a Kickstarter campaign. So when I heard that Valve would no longer be allowing games on Steam that used assets generated with these AI technologies, I kind of panicked a bit. But not because of the images, because whatever, that was fine. There could be a solution to that, and the ideal situation would be to work with a real artist anyway. That would be awesome. The problem was that it's not at all clear if Valve would apply the same rule to games with ChatGPT within them, out of concerns about copyright or anything like that. And if that was true, it would mean that the very foundation of the game itself would be banned from Steam. I've been in touch with Valve, and they're not being entirely clear, in my opinion, as to whether I would be allowed to publish this game or not, which kind of sucks because I have been enjoying making this game quite a bit, but on the bright side, it has become a bit of a passion project. Like, I'm enjoying the process, it's not a slog. Making any money off of this would just be a bonus in the end anyway. It's just fun to make the game, which is actually great because I definitely didn't feel that way about Air Obscure. With Air Obscure, I hated making it, and I was like, this has to make some sort of money, but it didn't, and it was like, this sucks, why did I do this? But hopefully they will allow it, because it's just using ChatGPT for generating text real time. I'm not like saying I wrote the text, but ChatGPT generated it. Everything pre-written is written by me. Also, very good news is that the API package was updated, and now I can actually let people put in their API key, which basically just means that you can actually play the game, not just only me can play the game. So right now I'm going to be working on setting that up. So this is for sure the best way, and this is how other games that are doing this, and that's another thing. Games like this are on Steam. Like, they're not published yet, but they're work in progress. So I feel like I should be allowed to do it, but we'll see what happens. To be honest, all these problems had me a little bit burnt out, but thankfully the long weekend was just around the corner, and I took the opportunity to drive through the endless fields of Saskatchewan and go see the beautiful Rocky Mountains. This is the only path to the trailhead. I'm going back to Saskatchewan tomorrow, and I was thinking, like, okay, there's so much that I gotta do for this game. There's so much confusion, there's so much unknown. I might be kind of screwed if Valve doesn't want my game on Steam. And of course, I can't control how many people actually end up liking the game. Maybe no one's gonna want to buy it. But one thing that I can control is that I'm going to finish this game. I can actually do it. I know I can finish the game. It's not going to be that hard. I know that I'm going to enjoy it. I'm going to go back to Saskatchewan. I'm going to keep working on this game, and you guys are going to see more of it, see it through to the end, hopefully. So we do what we can do, right? Okay, so I'm back, and I guess I'm stuck with a permanent white vignette on the camera now. I'm basically like completely energized for game development right now. I I want to finish this thing. I don't know if Valve is gonna allow it. If it doesn't, I'm gonna maybe like sell it on my website or something. I don't know. That's probably not the best thing to do, but I want to get this thing done. I'm excited about it. I like the idea. I think it's a good idea. I'm gonna try to get as much done as I can and aim for a Steam page if they let me, and if not, aim for a demo. All right, see you later. As you can see, the white vignette is gone. I don't know how that happened. Anyways, with everything up in the air as to whether or not I can actually release this game, I focused on creating a simple demo to showcase these different NPCs and their different personalities. The storyline is pretty disjoint, and unfortunately I wasn't able to get artists in time for this, so there is still mid-journey placeholder imagery for now, and the demo is available for free on my Patreon, so go ahead and grab that from the link in the description. But because I think it will be important to work with a real artist, I think what I'll do for now is I will keep future builds reserved just for patrons. This will help raise money to hire an artist so that I don't have to deal with Kickstarter, and so that the game will have a better chance to succeed. So if you want to see the game come to fruition, please support me on Patreon. You'll also get access to tons of great game dev content, learning materials, exercises, and exclusive videos. It'll be a huge help to the game and to the channel. And if you're interested in making games of your own, then you should really check out this video here, because in that video I try to help you learn from my mistakes. I worked hard on it and I think that you'll find it super helpful. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless.